How do you hire a virtual assistant? Does that seem really foreign to you to hire somebody overseas that you actually can't meet with in person? Well, I've got a team of 23 people that work for me full-time that are on the other side of the globe, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. Not only how to hire them, but how to find the right people and how to train them. We're going to cover all of that in this episode. We're going to cover a few things in this episode. We're going to talk about how to find somebody, then how to communicate with them, and then how to ask them to apply. There's a great way that I've learned over the years of how to have them apply that really filters out people you don't want to hire and really filters in people that you do want to hire. And then I've got the perfect system of getting them started so that you know that you've got the right person. In a previous episode, I'll link to it right up here, I told you about the tool virtualassistanttool.com. All 23 of my hires, that's where I found them. I went to virtualassistanttool.com and I did an advanced VA search. You have to scroll down to the bottom of the website to find that link, but then you can type in things like video editor and you can adjust the parameters of who you're looking for. So that's the tool that I recommend that you use. And in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about, okay, what do you do next? What do you say when you reach out to them and how does this process go? Just like you want to hire somebody and know that you can trust them, they want to know that they can trust you, right? They want to work for an employer that is trustworthy, that will pay them, because there's actually a lot of sketchy people out there that will hire somebody, have them do work, and then won't pay them. That is terrible. And I know you're not that way. So here's how you can build a relationship of trust and help them know that you're somebody that will pay. So there are a lot of ways that you can communicate with them, but I'm going to recommend that you do something different. Don't just ask for a resume and show them your job description, but I want you to pull out your phone and I want you to talk to your phone and record a selfie video. So it doesn't have to be professionally lit or anything like that. I don't want you to be scripted. You might have some talking points of things that you want to ask them, things that you might want to share to introduce yourself to them. So I'll typically record about 5 minutes of me just talking to them and saying, hey there, I'm Nate. Here's some details about my company and what we do. They get to see me, they get to see my surroundings, they get to hear my voice and know what kind of person I am or know what my personality is a little bit. And I let them know, hey, just like I'm making a selfie video for you, I know it's a little bit uncomfortable, but that's how I want you to apply. So instead of sending me a resume, if you could just pull out your phone and record a selfie video and just introduce yourself. Let me know your background, what experience you have for this position, what you know about the job position. Let me know what you know about our company and what you're going to be doing and why you think you're going to be a good fit. Make your video also about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes long. Just introduce yourself to me. That will be your video application. So I mentioned that I've been hiring people in the Philippines for almost 14 years, and I did not do the video application in the beginning, and it just took extra steps, extra filters, and sometimes I would hire the right person, but sometimes I would hire somebody that would flake out, okay? Once I started doing the video application, that really shortened the hiring process. It gave me a lot more confidence in the people or the person that I was hiring. I feel like I got to know them a little bit better. Just like they get to know me a little bit better, now I get to know them. So if I've communicated with 30 or 40 people that I found through this search on virtualassistanttool.com and I've sent them my video, then I asked for them to send back a video application, I might get 10 or 12 video applications. So obviously you're going to watch those and you're going to be able to narrow it down based on their responses and based on whether you feel that they'll be a fit for this position. So let's say you're able to narrow it down to 5 people and you think, these 5 are my top candidates. Here's what you do next. Give them a trial assignment. So I'll just use video editing as an example. If I've taken these video assets and edited it and turned it into this finished video product, that's something that I can show to them and say, hey, here's what we started with, here's what we finished with. I'm going to give you a folder of similar video assets and I want you to turn it into a finished product in a similar way. I will pay you for this trial assignment, right? Make sure you let them know that. Make sure that you let them know that you will be paying them for this trial assignment. Let them know to keep track of their hours. This is such a huge blessing and opportunity to be able to do that. In the United States, you can't really hire people for a trial assignment. You have to go through all this negotiation and sign an employment agreement, right? And you become an employee, which, anyway, that's a topic for another discussion. But being able to hire somebody overseas, it's like you're hiring an independent contractor where you can just hire them for a job or a project. This is how I hire. I hire people for a trial assignment. If that goes well, I might give you another trial assignment. I might hire you for then a trial week. And if that week goes well, then you can just count on being a full-time person with us. We love to have you with us long term. So when I communicate that with people, it really gives them assurance of what I'm looking for, what my expectations are, and what the hope is, because they are looking for long-term, reliable employment as well. So if I have 5 people and I give each of them a trial assignment, then I can really see how good they do. Now, I'm not looking for perfection. Like with an editing project, 100% to exactly where I want to be. I'm just looking for 80%, right? If on their first go around, they can get it 80% of the way there, then I know that there's somebody I can work with. And in the coming episode, I'm going to talk to you more about the training side of things, but the trial assignment gives you a lot of information. You get to see how good they are at communicating, not only just telling you, yeah, I'm very responsive, I'm a good communicator, but during this editing process, you get to know if they ask questions. And when you communicate with them, how quick do they respond? If they complete their assignment in a certain amount of time and it took 8 hours, but another applicant did the same thing and did it in 2 hours, that gives you a lot to go by. So out of the 5 people, you might want to hire 2. I typically hire 2 people at a time for a position because it's such a blessing to be able to hire somebody at a starting rate of $500 a month, something like that. If I hire 2 people, I can afford that. And if I end up with 2 people that stay with me long term, that's a huge blessing that I found 2 amazing people. But sometimes one person ends up flaking out or ends up not being the fit that they thought it was. And so you then narrow it down and you still have 1 and you don't have to go through this hiring process again. Now, if it's your very first virtual assistant, then yeah, just hire 1. It's going to make such a huge difference in your business. You're replicating yourself. There's a lot of things that you can get distracted by, and I'm going to encourage you to take it easy and not worry about tracking their specific hours, not using any of that software that takes screenshots of their screen to make sure that they're on task. Just give them a level of trust, and what you do need to track is their output. Like if you're assigning them different projects, whether it's video editing tasks or whatever you're hiring them for, look at their output and look at their communication, their responsiveness, and if they deliver those things in a reliable way. I pay my team once a month, and so at the end of the month, I just have them give me a report of how many hours they worked, and then I just pay them that amount. I just trust them. As long as the expectations that I have from them, their output and their communication, as long as that expectation matches what they're saying, like, yeah, I worked 160 hours this month, and I got all the expectations met, then I pay them that. I don't question their hours. But if on the other hand, I knew that somebody asked for a lot of time off, but their productivity was a lot less or something, and they still report 160 hours, then I know I need to have a conversation. I learned how to do this 14 years ago, and it's completely transformed my life and obviously transformed my business. The business that I have today would not exist. I would not have been able to do what I do now if it weren't for this great resource and being able to hire the amazing people in the Philippines. So if you'd like to do the same, just go to virtualassistanttool.com.